Still get quite a lot of snipe, but they probably aren't.
Andrew Carter's farm in the Avon Valley is a haven for bird life, some of it rare, and his cows are making the birds even harder to spot.
We've had an influx of cattle egrets this autumn. There they are, just landing by the cow over there now. We had sort of 17 or 18 to start with, we're down to about just the 2 only now, a month later. Quite rare for this part of the world, probably the largest flock in Wiltshire.
The cow's gone in the way.
She'll move. Come on, girl! You got them?
Yeah.
Loads of herons. There's a heronry not very far away from here, about 4 miles away, which is quite a big heronry. They enjoy the meadows very much.
But there are some birds he would like to have there full time.
If you think, oh, we've got lots of snipe here, no problems, they're going to be breeding, but they're not. It's a different population. This population know that they go north to breed, so none of them stay here, and they're not likely to stay here, even though the conditions are obviously correct for them in terms of food being available.
Snipe like soggy ground and Andrew's meadows appear to be ideal.
Halfway between us and the Swan is where we might flush some snipe, so we'll keep our eyes and ears open. There you go. 3 snipe. There'll be another one there, another 2 there, way over 10. Yeah, and another. Yeah, so like these really marshy, another 2 there, must be up to over 15 by now. Gives them good soft ground to feed in, and that's what they like.
Expecting a handful, we spot about 30 in just a few minutes. This meadow is part of the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust's Waders for Real project, which is reversing declines in lapwings and redshank.
This is work GWCT did, ditching these bits out here, down there, and across. These are old traditional water meadows, so these are the old bottoms, the old drains. We cleaned these all out 18 months ago now. And I think the birds are quite appreciated.
The main interest is breeding waders, with a main focus of breeding lapwing, but also breeding redshank and snipe. So we've, along with us and the RSPB, we've monitored the Avon Valley for breeding waders over the last 30 or so years, and we've just seen them go down and down and down.
GWCT's Lizzie Grayshon brought together farmers, landowners and gamekeepers up and down the valley and has the huge task of coordinating between them all. 2014
we kind of hit a really low number of sort of 62 pairs of lapwing, which was really low for this area. It should be a lot higher. So that's when we kind of got all the farmers together and said, if we don't do something now, they're just going to disappear.
They didn't need much convincing.
Well, it was the initial meeting that we had that showed us the rate of decline. It was just a figure, the rates just stuck in my mind, and I just thought from that moment, this is something I can get involved with and I can have a positive impact on.
The whole plan on the meadows was to improve the habitat for the breeding waders, and in the Game and Wildlife, I went to a meeting with Game and Wildlife, and they said how poor the general breeding potential of the birds was, and they came. We started working with them, and it has improved since we've been doing that. It's shown that we can sort of put small scrapes in, and it doesn't affect the overall profitability of the land, if you like. We can carry on and still do what we need to do. We can make hay, we can make silage, we can do the grazing, but doing it at the right times, particularly getting into the autumn, getting it ready for the spring. That was probably something that the Game and Wildlife really showed that we needed to do.
The main thing is everybody's kind of working with a common goal. So lots of the farmers were aware of what was there, but they weren't really sure of what was going wrong. It's quite hard to know how well your population is being successful in terms of sort of breeding success. So our monitoring able to show the precise causes of failures there, and then people could come in and make their management a lot more targeted. So we did quite a lot of work with some of the keepers there, so their predator control became much more targeted.
Predator control turns out to be key to the success of the project.
That involves culling foxes and mink, but also using exclusion fences, electric fences, to help back that up as well.
We know we have a large fox population, and we're able to stay on top of that through Rupert's efforts. But we also know that we get lots of badgers out on the meadows as well, especially in the drier years. They'll come out and forage on the meadows, and the temporary electric fences will They won't stop all of them, but they give them quite a good reason not to go out onto those sites.
Well, one of my key roles within the Waders for Real project was to try and better understand how foxes used the river meadows where waders try to breed. We've attempted to provide a lot more insight into that by using GPS technology. So over the course of the project, I caught foxes and fitted them with GPS tags. Most of the foxes that we've been tagging in the valley have occupied quite neat territories, but we have had some really revealing events. For example, in 2019, I caught an adult female vixen on river meadows just south of Fordingbridge, and having fitted her tag and let her go again, overnight she left the Avon Valley and travelled about 25 kilometres across the New Forest towards Southampton, and she remained in that area for around about 10 days. And from her tagging movements we could see that she made some exploratory forays into Totton, into an urban area, and from looking at her GPS fixes I could see that she was possibly moving up and down the M27 at one point. After about 10 days living in that Southampton area, she then travelled an equivalent distance overnight and arrived back down here in the Avon Valley on a site where a lot of predation management work goes in to try and conserve lapwings and redshank. She was picked up on a camera trap and finally dispatched by the gamekeeper who was going about his normal duties. The thought that we've got foxes potentially coming in from areas as far as Southampton into the Avon Valley is a really key finding.
So far, the GWCT project has only focused on part of the valley.
Got a number of things in at the moment that we're hoping will come off soon, especially with the idea to expand back up the valley. So most of our work has focused Fordingbridge south down to the coast, and we're hoping to start moving upwards to enable the population to start expanding up.
And the individual farmer's never going to sort out what's going on. Also, if we've got the whole valley involved, which GWCT through Lizzie has managed to get happening pretty much, we stand a chance of actually improving things, which on your own you're not going to do. That's the major difference, I think you'll find.
Because it's hard to keep going if you're not really sure if what you're doing is helping, and if you don't know that there's other people doing it as well. So I think being able to do some of the detailed monitoring and get the feedback has been quite good. It's kept people going.
The Waders for Real project, which included funding from the EU LIFE programme, ended last December. But the work of this committed group of farmers and gamekeepers continues after support from the Facilitation Fund. You can find out more about it on the GWCT website.